Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer has been under fire because of a confrontation he had with a black newspaper carrier in Tacoma back in January. Critics say he was racial profiling when he tracked down the 24-year-old man and called 911, claiming that the carrier was threatening to kill him. Ed Troyer says he had no idea of that man's race, and the 40 cops who were rushing to the scene were called off after Tacoma police arrived. The Pierce County Council is now planning to hire an investigator to look into Sheriff Troyer's conduct. And Derek Young is the chair of the council, and he joins us now on the show. Good morning, Derek.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. So because Troyer was elected, he does not report to you guys. So why are you calling for this investigation, and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I guess the way I look at this is that the council is the body that represents the people, most closely, and we have some authority to do investigations based on our charter. And so I think it's important for us to conduct an investigation on their behalf to make sure all the facts are known and the truth, whatever it looks like, comes out, and then the people can choose to do with it as they wish.
When you start talking about an investigation, an independent investigation, can you kind of help us understand what that looks like? Is that made up of those here locally that you guys find, or is this going to be someone from the outside, maybe an out-of-state agency that can come in and look at this? Help us understand that.
Sure. I do think it's going to be someone probably locally, but at the same time, I thought it was important that we not just have like another agency look at this, which is sometimes viewed as too connected to other departments. So we're looking at someone who's potentially retired, attorney, and basically someone that exhibits that independence and doesn't have any connections to local law enforcement. And that way, we can make sure that it's something that's as trustworthy as we can make it.
Is this a bipartisan thing? Because I did see the release that came out. It talked about Tacoma Democrats demanding a resignation. Is this a bipartisan thing across the way? Both sides, do they want to get to the bottom of what's going on down here?
Yeah, so far, and to be clear, the party action had nothing to do with the council's decision. And I will say, so far, both the executive, who's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, and members of the council have not given any objection. So I think this is an across-the-board belief that the most important thing is that the truth comes out, whatever it looks like. So, and that's important to me because I don't want this to be political, and I don't want this to be partisan. So I think it's really important for the public to have trust in this, and that's the way I'd like to keep it.
So what will you do, though, then, with the investigation? So you said, however the truth comes out, the sheriff says he has no plans to resign. There are growing calls for him to resign. What is it that you are going to do then with the investigation?
So the investigation is basically on behalf of the public, in my view. So we will release whatever information we get, and essentially act as a conduit for the people. The council may take a position on the matter, and we'll leave that up to whatever comes out of the investigation, and certainly individual members can take a position publicly, but ultimately, because the position is elected, the ultimate deciders is the public.
So to that end, are you in favor of making the sheriff position an appointed position versus an elected position?
Yeah, so long before this, I made it clear that I believe that the sheriff's position, and frankly, other management positions within the executive branch should be appointed positions. In most cases, these are technical and managerial positions, and I think it's best to leave that to our elected executive to appoint. We don't elect our fire chiefs. We don't elect our medical examiner. We don't elect, many other positions, department heads, planning directors, for example. I think those are for example, when I was a city council member, we had a appointed police chief. I think that process is the best way to go about it. We're a major metropolitan county that should be able to go on a national search for the best candidate that we can find. And so that's, prior to even going through this last election, I thought that was the best way to go.
Councilman, let me ask you this. When it comes to the people, the constituents, and the trust right now, and right now with law enforcement down south, Pierce County and Tacoma Police Department, people I talk to, there doesn't seem to be a lot of trust. This is not with all police officers. It really has a feeling with it when it comes to leadership. What do you have to say to the people when it comes to their lack of trust for law enforcement right now?
I guess I would just start with, I hear you. I understand why this would be troubling and why, in general, folks might be frustrated. But I also want to say that, policing depends on trust. If we lose that, we lose the ability to police, and I think it's my job to get that back. So what I can tell them is I'm going to fight like hell to make sure that folks can trust the people that serve them, whether that be police or, frankly, other agencies. But I also know that folks are hurting and frustrated. So I don't want to pretend that that's not there, and I don't want to pretend that it's not our job to build back that trust.
Derek Young, Chair of the Pierce County Council, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know there was other things that we wanted to talk to you about, and we'll just have to invite you onto the show again in the very near future. Thank you.